Let me tell you about my boat.
Taylor Jackson.
Shooting 67 weddings last year.
Taylor Jackson, welcome.
So Taylor, you are well known in this community. You're an amazing photographer.
We are out here in Santorini, Greece today, and right behind us is the beautiful blue domes that you've come to know from Instagram probably. We're here at the very end of the season, which is October. There's about 15 days left in the season before really everybody just kind of flees the city and all the staff go on vacation. So the streets are empty, but they're still quite busy. But if you are planning to come here for photography, I would probably recommend closer to the end or the beginning of the season.
What are you shooting on today, Taylor?
Today we're shooting on the Nikon Z6 with the 35 1.8, and I figured I'm usually an 85 shooter for a portrait session like this, but one, because of the tight spaces and that I actually want to incorporate as much of the exterior of the city as I possibly can, I thought I'd go a little bit wider, and then also just proximity shooting in a tourist location like this.
How do we know these people?
Ariana works at a place called Hacienda Seria that you've seen probably if you're a follower of this channel. How long is your honeymoon? 6 weeks?
This is just a trip.
This is just a trip? This isn't even a honeymoon?
No, this is a trip. 7 weeks.
7 weeks, non-honeymoon, just a trip, all through Europe. So they were like, hey, we're here in this spot at this time, and it was indirectly on the way to where we're going next. So we thought we'd stop by casually in the most beautiful city in the world. So while we take some photos today, I'm actually going to be editing them as we go to show you a little bit about how the final images come together. Perfect. Cool. We're going to be editing everything in Luminar 4, which is a tool that basically took all 20 plus years of my image editing knowledge and just kind of condensed it into easy to move little sliders. The huge benefit, I think, is that one, Luminar 4 it's just a straight purchase. So you buy it one time and then you own it rather than a subscription. And two, it just makes everything very easy, simple, one-click solution. So first, I will mention that there is a 7-day trial in the description if you want to just try this out and see how it works for your workflow. You can do that. The big thing that I've noticed kind of right off the start here is that everything is a little bit of a one-click solution. So I've made some favorites from my looks down here. You can go through, you can buy new looks if you want. And the default ones that it comes with, specifically this warm sunset, just kind of makes the image instantly a heck of a lot better. So this is my straight out of camera file right here, and this is just the one-click solution. So as you can see, a heck of a lot better already. The other thing that Luminar is probably the most known for, and you've probably seen demonstrations of this already, is the sky replacement. So for the AI sky replacement, basically everything is built on some level of artificial intelligence. So we'll show that off a little bit in the portrait retouch. But basically it just kind of knows what all elements are in the scene, and it knows how to influence them and change them to make them what you want, and without you having to go in and draw the masks to be like, hey, I'd love for just like this piece of the eyebrow and this piece of the eyebrow to be affected, that there's just physically a slider for that. So we're gonna get rid of this, and I'm gonna go back actually to the original. So if you just go down here to history, you can go back to the original, and I'm gonna show you just a simple little sky replace here. So back here, sky selection, down here, drag it, and I'm gonna pick sunset 2. And this isn't something that you're gonna wanna do all of the time. This is, I would say, for portrait and specifically for weddings. I never really want to change the weather of the wedding day. That I don't need that signature edit to look like this. But what this is incredibly useful for is commercial work, and specifically my real estate work, that if I'm out there and I'm photographing 3 or 4 or 5 houses in a day, and I can't just sit there and wait for a beautiful golden hour, and sometimes you don't get that sunset. So even if you wait for it, it doesn't happen. But what you can do is you can come in here and you can kind of relight the entire scene. One, it gives you that nice sky that actually blends really well with the scene. As you can see, it's even though I'm a little bit high on the horizon, because I'm actually on a mountain, I guess, here. So moving that horizon down, it knows it keeps all these elements, like, and to do the before and after. So this again is just the straight out of camera image. And as you can see, with no LUT or no kind of color added to it, this is just the straight raw file with the fake sky. As you're relighting the scene, it just feels really nice. So editing from that point, this is now the raw file in camera technically, and editing from this and being able to do all the color that I want on it, it's just really going to make an incredible image. And you saw how easy that was. That was like 3 clicks basically to get that done. So while I'm not going to be doing it for all of my wedding and portrait work, it is an incredibly powerful tool that will speed up commercial and real estate and just give you some creative opportunities that are just so easy. Like it used to be that you'd have to go in, you'd have to cut all this out and you'd have to feather it, and there's like 2 or 3 or 5 different ways that you can cut things out, and you have to decide which one is the best. And now it just does it all, and it looks really, really, really incredible. The other thing that I will actually be using a lot, maybe we'll go back to original sky, warm sunset, 1 click, boom. One tool that I actually will be using quite often is sunrise here, and as you can see, it adds that little starburst, but you can move it wherever you want. So the sun is technically right over here, and I don't want to just like overpower it. I'm just kind of dialing it up just so I can see kind of where it is. But to add that little extra, that little flare, my issue with lenses in like specifically the Nikon Z series lenses and all the new mirrorless lenses that are coming out is that they are so good that they just don't really flare the way that I want. And I kind of want that like a little bit of just that imperfection. So by adding this, it really just kind of adds that next level of kind of warmth and wraparound light to your scene, and you can change everything kind of however you want. So if you want to really amplify it up here, you can do something like that. And then you can kind of dial it back. I feel like it's important to understand that whenever you edit to something, you're like, oh, that looks amazing. I feel like you got to dial it back just a little bit to make it just a little bit more realistic. I feel like portfolio-wise, that image will just stay in your portfolio for a heck of a lot longer. And in here, I guess I glazed over the, I didn't even touch on the basics, but in here you have your basic tools. So if you want to change the white balance a little bit, or you want to change your exposure entirely, smart contrast is actually, I usually don't touch contrast sliders at all, and smart contrast really does kind of add I don't know what the technology is behind it. Obviously they've put a lot of time and effort into it, but the way that it just kind of adds contrast without muddying any details up or blowing any highlights out too far is just kind of absolutely perfect for me. So we'll get more into the tools as we go, but now we're gonna go back to the shoot. And I think I'm gonna have you guys like right here. And this is just gonna be the first shot and probably also the nicest shot that I've ever taken in my life. Oh, this looks amazing. You guys can face each other. Put your other arm, or both arms kind of around each other, just so you're a little more, yeah, that's perfect. Moving into the photo, just from the steps of our hotel, Tim and I, our hotel room was just right over here to the right. And I'm gonna show, I guess there's so the problem is that there are so many good options for you to edit from with these 1 clicks, or at least spots to get you started, that it's actually really challenging to make a decision. So you have a little bit of decision paralysis or decision fatigue. I'm gonna click just the AI image enhancer and just show you immediately how good that takes it. So this is kind of the beginning. That's what it looked like. And just 1 click, that's what it's looking like there. It's a little bit blue for my tastes. So I'm gonna warm it up just a little bit here with the temperature slider. You can also just use the eyedropper if there's something white, which there is in here. But because there's kind of 2 different colors of white going on, I'm actually just gonna kind of take manual control myself. So something like that looks really, really nice to me. And it doesn't look over processed, and it's just that 1 click solution that it just gets it done really nice and fast. Since I know this is going to be an image that they're going to be maybe making a little bit larger or printing, I'm actually gonna go into the AI skin enhancer, and I'll do a quick little demo closer up about that in a second here. But basically I'm just kind of softening any skin tones right now. It's identifying Ethan and Ariana as people, and it's just kind of making their skin just a little bit nicer, so whenever they print the image a little bit larger, they're gonna look as good as they possibly can. I'm gonna move over here to this image of Brittany here to show you really the power, I guess, of the portrait retouch and how easy it makes it. That my thing, I guess, at least for as a wedding photographer, I shoot a lot of volume, and for me to be able to batch process all of this together, which you're gonna see in a future video, and to just do everything that I would usually do, but just make it at least 90% of the way. Maybe I still have to go in and if I shot everything a little bit too overexposed or my white balance wasn't exact, that I still have to go in to change that a little bit, but all skin and everything is just gonna look as good as it can possibly look. All right, so going down here in your looks, there are some looks that are for portraits specifically. And what you can do is you can actually do the AI face enhancer. What you're gonna see right here is that it just does some, like, any of the editing that you would do to skin just to make everything look just a little bit better, it's already given you a pretty good start. So a lot of the time this is going to take it to 100%. Right now we're going to do a little bit extra work. So face light, just all it does is just kind of masks exactly the person's face, and it's very helpful if you're shooting things ambient like I am in less than ideal conditions. Red eye removal shouldn't be a problem for you hopefully anymore. Eye whitening, important to not go too hard with this, but I feel like somewhere around like 10 or 12 is totally good. Eye enhancer just kind of brings up the color and the sharpness kind of right here in Brittany's eyes. Dark circles removed, does exactly what it says. Slim face, probably important not to overuse this one because it could get a little crazy, as you could imagine. But it is nice to have there, so that is the before and after. Definitely influencing and changing the scene quite a lot. But crazy that it just can do that automatically. Maybe we'll leave that down there a little bit like that. In large eyes, you can add a little bit. I feel like people connect better with larger eyes, that if you see specifically, for instance, in a YouTube thumbnail, if you see big eyes, you're kind of a little more drawn in. I feel like that's the same for Instagram photos, that people are a little bit more likely to like the image if they see slightly larger eyes, but important not to overdo it. Eyebrows, just darkening there. Lip saturation, redness, and darkening. You can also go into teeth whitening as well if you decide that you need that. And that's like kind of it. That quick, fast retouch, all with sliders, and it's looking pretty much, I would say, almost ready to go there. And now I'm gonna come into here and the AI skin enhancer. So basically what this is doing is it is removing shine if you are shooting in, again, those less than ideal environments, as well as skin enhancer. So basically it's just kind of softening any of the skin that should be. And also the crazy thing for skin defects, so if you have like a little pimple or something on whoever you're photographing, that this will just delete it, and then you can sync that, you can batch sync that across your entire wedding gallery. So for instance, for me, if my groom has like a little dot right here that isn't there, I think kind of my rule is that if it's something that isn't there, it's not going to be there 3 days from now, I don't really want that to be part of their wedding photos forever. So if I'm able to just click this button and sync this across every single one of my images from a wedding day, it's going to make my life a lot easier, and it's going to make the end client a lot happier, and they're not going to send me edit requests, and I'm not going to have to kind of individually go into each and every image. So I would say something like this, dial back the skin enhancer. You don't want to go completely overboard, but something like that, I feel like I'm going to be pretty happy with. So that's the before and the after. And now you can go in and you can add your color and you can tone it the exact way that you want now that kind of the base raw photo is exactly as you'd want it. So very, very powerful tool in here. So let's get back to the shoot. We're gonna do one more image with Ariana and Ethan, and then we're going to actually do something a little bit different for landscape photos from Santorini, from the spots that we shot during the shoot. And if you guys wanna hold hands and just slowly walk towards me over this way, and you can look at each other kind of like you've been doing. Amazing. Perfect. And you can turn around and just be super happy. That's good. And you can walk this way and just be really happy. I'm always looking for good lighting first before I place my couples kind of anywhere, and this is just really, really fantastic lighting on that bounce coming off that wall, even though it's a little different colored than it usually might be, but I think it really kind of blends into the scene and it really contrasts against that blue sky. Welcome back to the computer. I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna go to my favorites. These are just basically what you can do is in your looks down here. So say, for instance, that you like just the AI image enhancer, you click the little star here and then it adds them all to your favorites. I went through and just kind of selected the ones that I found myself using the most often. I think it's also important not to overdo it. Again, as I spoke to, that you can definitely give yourself some sort of decision fatigue, and you can never be 100% exactly happy because maybe something could be better and you're gonna spend your entire day doing that. I think it's important just to find a few that you like and just modify from there. So for this one, I'm going to use Day at the Beach, and as a one click, that looks incredible. So this is the straight out of camera image, and that's one click. That image is done. I don't have to do anything. That's one click, batch that across all those images from this specific set, and I'm very happy with it. I might add a little bit of the AI skin enhancer, just in case they decide that they want to print those images big. It just kind of helps out a little bit with skin and maybe a little bit of shine removal, even though I don't think they really need it. And I'm actually gonna go in here and I'm going to just try a little bit of teeth whitening, only because basically what's happening is this reflection is all just kind of coming back on Ariana there. So just a little bit, little touch touch of teeth whitening, get things back to how they should be in real life. And if you want to call maybe a little bit more interest to your subject and brighten up their face a little bit rather than going in with a brush and doing that, which you still can if you want, but this just kind of automatically does it, and it just makes the mask for you so you don't have to do anything yourself really. So happy with that photo, 2 clicks and just straight done. A lot of people think the golden hour is the best time to take photos. I personally prefer blue hour, which is right now. The blue of the water, or the blue of kind of the doors and everything, the pools, really kind of ties it together at this time of day. So I don't understand why all the photographers packed up and left as soon as the sun hit the horizon, because for the next half hour, 45 minutes, there are some good opportunities out here. It's perfect. All right, moving into this blue hour image, I would say if myself, I'm a computer programming background, if I was coding for something, I would probably be taking a lot of time to make sure those golden hour images are handled correctly, but I probably wouldn't be spending a whole lot of time on blue hour images. But what I've noticed is pretty quickly here, again, like just the AI landscape enhancer, that it's gonna take it pretty much to a final image just with one single click, and it almost hurts me a little bit knowing, because I want to do more. I feel the desire to do more to an image, to get it to where I want it to be, but it's just one click and it's just ready to go. So I guess that's just done. Moving over to another landscape image, I'm just going to click this AI landscape enhancer. And again, that's exactly what I would want to do that image, it's natural and true to real life and just accentuating all the good things that are going on in there. And as you can see, there's a lot more pop in this image than so that's straight out of camera raw file and one click AI landscape enhancer. So just for the AI image enhancer, landscape enhancer tools, and maybe this warm sunset is worth the cost of this program, quite honestly, for me. So if you're on the fence, get that 7-day trial in the description below and get started and see if it works for you, because I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to work for you. There's really no question. It just does everything, and it's just way easier than what I've been doing over the past couple of years now. All right, moving into the last image here, I've actually unclicked the aspect ratio lock, and I've kind of made it a little bit more like almost a thumbnail for potentially a YouTube video. And we are going to, again, see how close this gets, because this is a bit of a challenging scene that even if I went in, I really wouldn't know how to edit this without actually getting a Dodge burn brush and kind of doing custom adjustments. But I'm gonna see if I click AI image enhancer, how close it gets me to a final. I feel like that's pretty much the final image. One more adjustment that I would make is that I would actually go in and I would maybe brighten Brittany's face just a little bit, but I'm gonna see if the AI portrait enhancer will just do that for me and I don't have to go in specifically with a brush. And it did. Look at that, that's incredible. Of all the things, I didn't think that was gonna work. I didn't think that it was able to identify Brittany's face, because it's kind of like, it's a side profile and there's a lot going on, a lot of different colors. And let's have a look here. So raw file, edited file, just a couple of clicks. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm very happy with this program overall. If you're interested, go get that 7-day trial in the description below, and 30-day money back guarantee. So if you get it and you pay and you don't like it 30 days from now, no risk to you. So pick it up and see, because it really did kind of just put all of my understanding of image editing that I've learned over 20 years. It just does everything automatically now, and it does it in a way that there's kind of no second guessing, that it's just like, if you want lip saturation, that's the way to do it, that there's not going to be 15 different ways that you're going to have to go in and modify it, and you're like, oh, I don't know if that's right. And I think there is some power in releasing control and just being like, this is the way that this is done. I feel like it makes decision fatigue, is again what I spoke to earlier, a little bit easier on you. So yeah, nothing but great things to say. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for joining me in Santorini. Hopefully this software did impress you, because it definitely impressed me, and it makes my life a heck of a lot easier. And I'm just completely blown away with just the basic AI image enhance that I click that one button, and most situations it makes the photo whatever I would have done, but I didn't know that that's the edit that I would have been going for, and it would have taken me a lot of time to get there. So batching is coming up in another video where I'm just going to take an entire full wedding day, and we're going to see how close we can get just with AI image enhance and refine it from there. But from what I've seen today, I'm going to suspect that that's going to be a pretty easy thing for this software to handle. So thanks for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to pick up that 7-day free trial in the description below of Luminar 4.